Spring is in the air at Global Voice Broadcasting. Fresh new shows are hitting the airwaves every day. Shows about all the things that matter to you in your life. Music, fashion, celebs, and more. It's all here, and it's getting better every day. Only at Global Voice Broadcasting. You want to get fit and you want to look hot. It's the weekend and it's time to tackle fitness at its core. We'll tone up your health, wellness, and nutrition from the inside out, unlike anything you've ever heard before. We'll shape up your life and have fun doing it while motivating you to your full potential. So hang up the suit and get ready to work it. It's Fitness Friday with your 2 smart dumbbells.
Happy Fitness Friday, everybody. It is Friday, February 20th. February 20th. Like, I mean, seriously, I don't even know at this point. It's the shortest month we have anyway, and it's like already basically gone. I guess that's okay.
It's almost my birthday.
It's almost your birthday. Not quite.
March 2nd.
Almost. That doesn't quite fall under Aries, does it?
No, I'm a Pisces.
Okay, sorry.
I am a Pisces 100%.
Got a proud Pisces in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited that not only is it finally Fitness Friday, I don't know how any of us survived this week. If your week was as tough as mine, then congratulations. Welcome to another weekend. What is a weekend?
I have no idea. I haven't had a weekend.
I haven't had a weekend in forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Ashlee Borden is here. Sugar Mama. Welcome to 2 Smart Dumbbells. It's been quite the break since you were here last time.
It's a break. We're in a new location.
Yeah, all of the above, and I'm here.
And you're here, and I'm with you. I'm not with PJ, and I'm on camera.
I know.
I mean, you guys are so fancy now.
So much has changed.
So fancy.
Just moving up in the world.
I should have known when you walked in, and I was like, oh, wait, his hair's done. Meanwhile, you asked me to be on the show. I get no warning. I'm in here post-deadlift workout.
It's sabotage.
Yeah, total sabotage.
It's total sabotage.
Okay.
But you know, you're going to pull it off. You see how I roll.
All right,
It's that shadiness, Ashlee, that we were talking about. It's that shady Brandon, that bastard. He's always got to make everybody else look bad. No, I mean, I just feel like at this point I need to stay in permanent makeup and hair.
Now you know how I feel.
See?
Now you know how I feel.
See?
But it's not going on today. There is no hair and makeup today.
Now you should be thanking me.
Yeah, well.
See? Imagine the stress that you would have had if I would have said you're on camera. It would have been primped,
No,
pulled.
she would have had hair and makeup come. You look at it. Mommy's been doing this a while. I know how to prep. I know how to prep for this stuff.
Oh my God, I am so glad you're here. It's been too long. Not only, I mean, my absence from Lockbox, which is a tragedy in and of itself. However,
I know.
Apart from not getting to see you that often, other than our brief interactions, even if I was at Lockbox, we're both sweating heavily and usually pissed off at PJ or whoever is telling us to keep going.
I do stalk you on Instagram, so I do feel like I feel like we you have communication even though it's through a stalking.
We stalk each other through Instagram.
We do.
We were just joking earlier. My favorite. I'm still waiting by the phone. I haven't heard from you, but I've seen all of your posts on Instagram. So I know you're still alive.
I am alive. No, it's the people who don't follow through with business but have time to just do nothing nonstop but post.
We'll
and you're
get
like,
to that.
You can't even.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
It's true, but social media. It keeps us connected. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of staying connected, and because I know Ashlee is so excited to be on camera, if you want to watch us, we are live online, www.gvbradio.com/dumbbells. That's where we are. My dumbbellette, sitting in my dumbbellette chair. Sugar Mama, Ashlee Borden.
I know.
I really am super excited that you're here. And jokes aside, we really could sit here and just shoot the shit for an hour.
Yes.
Which would be fun.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone else listening would find that fun.
Sleeping.
No, that would probably wake them up.
Yes.
I'm probably like, oh, Jesus Christ, finally a fucking show where we don't have to sit here and talk about health and fitness the whole
We want to talk
time.
about I'm all about talking about the real shit of health and
Which
fitness,
is what
not just all the fluff.
That's why you and I get along, Ashlee.
Yes.
It's because there
We're
hasn't
just bitter
ever
enough
we're just bitter enough to get in there.
No, just enough.
Just dig into that edge
Yeah.
I'm so happy I found you. I mean, PJ had kept you. This is all PJ's fault. I say this all the time. When I meet people who come in, they're like, oh, yeah, well, PJ's told me all about you. I'm like, funny, he hasn't told me about you. And that one time I magically sneak away to Burning Man for a week. I'm on a plane coming home, and Ashlee Borden's on my radio show. I'm just like,
oh, you were at Burning Man during that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I know.
I mean, I am just, so your audience knows, I am a hardcore burner. Have not been, though, in a couple years, which is a friggin' travesty.
So let's work on our absences, both from our show, me from Lockbox,
I need to go back to
you
Burning
from the
Man.
Burn.
And people who've never been to Burning Man, most of the time when I hear somebody talk about Burning Man, they usually say, oh, you mean Burning Man where everybody's just nonstop on drugs, having sex everywhere, walking around with no clothes
doesn't
on?
that sound like a dream come true?
And I'm like, no, that's my Friday night. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm like, wait, obviously you've never been to Burning Man because that is not the experience that I have. As a matter of fact, my first year when I was there, I was looking for that. I was like, where's everybody having sex on the ground?
Isn't that the funny thing, though? Is everybody talks about that, and it's just, if you look for it, you can find it. But that's just not. Well,
you know what I found?
You needed to go to Comfort and Joy.
Excuse me, I did. I mean, I know about Comfort and Joy, and this is back when they had Jiffy Lube tent.
Oh, Jiffy Lube has not been there in years.
Get in, get off, get out.
I know, it's true.
Not that I ever was in that tent myself.
Well,
but I had friends.
We're here now.
Yeah,
I mean, we can turn the cameras off. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. No, but seriously. But those are all things that I want to talk about today because actually that all ties in to everything that we do. You, as a fitness guru, who all hail the fitness guru of Ashlee Borden. In all seriousness, completely though. I mean, over 35,000 hours of experience. You've been doing this probably as long as I've been alive. Seriously.
How old are you?
26. I just turned 26.
Ew, you're 26?
This is the worst
horrified.
question. How old did you think I was? That's always the terrifying part.
I'm just grossed out that I have been doing this as long as you've been alive.
But
and
look
that
how
is
good
not
you
right.
look. It is right.
I've been doing it since I was 3. Just kidding.
I love that when that's the answer.
Yeah.
How long have you been singing? Since I was 3.
No, but I have been in fitness my entire life. I was a dancer, blah, blah, blah. But I have been training for about 25 years now.
Yeah.
I'm 40. I'm going to be 44 March 2nd.
You look fantastic.
Thanks.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm inspired.
Well, I mean, that's, the big part, the great thing about fitness is that it's never too late.
No, it never is too late.
And it's never too late to learn new things, and it's never too late to humble yourself and putting yourself in a new environment.
Oh,
which
it happens
is
all the time.
What I did probably in the last 3 or 4 years, I had the biggest change of myself, of my body, of training, of I wanted to learn jiu-jitsu. I wanted to start Olympic lifting. I wanted to...
All things you've done.
Yeah, and things that I had never done before in my life.
And
I've been doing
that's what's so interesting about all this. Like, I've dubbed February this year Fall Off the Wagon February because, truthfully, I don't know if you've noticed, being that you were in the controlled environment of Lockbox, which has a pretty steady set of regulars. But at the gyms all around, everything for the first time has gone, like, January is usually crazy and then, like, slowly tapers off. Ashlee, it's been, like, hard dead out.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
I am, and maybe it's just because I just work so much and I never even notice what season we're in, but people always ask, like, do you feel like after New Year's that you see like a drop off or increase? I mean, I actually saw a big increase in people wanting to train again, but usually people end up dropping off because, that are not my clients, but people who in general, because the plan that they've set up for themselves is too big, not specific enough, don't have enough help, unrealistic. It's something where you have great grandiose end results, but then you have to back up and go, okay, so if that's my goal of what I want to do, and let's say part of it is like you want to start weight training. Sure. I mean, that's a great concept to want to do, but what are you doing? What is the program? What is the plan? Most
people don't have that.
Right. So I mean, nowadays, thank God, we have a lot more access to free programs that are out there.
Just information, period. I mean, literally at your fingertips at anything. And thank God for some of these fitness apps. Like, I don't agree with all of them, but at least I feel like some people, when I see them using them and they're excited about using them, it's engaging them in the right direction.
We've been doing, I know you were doing it, we've been doing, Brian and my trainer and my dear friend, Brian Redfern,
Brian.
Hi, Brian. We've been doing
He's not listening,
small off.
I've been doing small off for like 5 months now.
I know, you're huge.
I'm like dying.
You've put on like 80 pounds of muscle.
I wish I put on 80 pounds of muscle, Ashlee.
I swear to God, it looks like you look huge.
Beefed up.
Now, I don't know what's happened on my God, look at your arms.
I know, you want to touch them? God, Look at your
But-
arms.
oh, yeah.
Look at our breasts. Both of us.
Yeah, but wait.
Seriously. I mean, my God. Here, ladies, we have to take a break again. No.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley's like, wait, we don't
I'm
take
like,
breaks.
the only thing that's weird is I don't think I'm really your type, but
Hey, you never know.
yeah, you know,
you never know.
You never know.
You were talking about
I'm
Brian.
masculine enough.
Stop it.
Yeah, we've been doing the small off, junior.
Small off junior is the only way to go.
It's the only
Whatever
way to
the other
go.
fucking one is way too much.
But which for people who don't know is an app that is basically a strength cycle app
Yeah.
that you put in. It's a back squats.
You can make it whatever lift you want it to do. You have Small Off Junior, which is a 3-week program.
Right.
Or there's the regular Small Off, which is a
Longer.
all hell kill yourself 12-week.
Do you guys do the 12-week?
No, but I mean, listen, Ashley, at this point we've been doing Small Off since September with different lifts, and there is rhyme and reason to it, but we've learned a lot going through this. Brian saw Scott and I doing it at Fitness Factory. And the whole thing, which I've spoken about on the show before, is that Small Off for us came from, I was so overtrained, I was so run down, and I was so competitive with what was going on after I got back from Burning Man again at Lockbox, that I was hitting that level of, you're not going to make it again. And I had to pull everything back because with Cycle House and everything else, things had gotten so busy that I had to find a balance and just a steady state to slow down. And then we just got into it and stuck with it. We're tapering towards a quote-unquote end result, but what we're talking about is that this app goes in and you put in your maxes for whichever lifts you want to do. Right now we happen to be doing front squat, bench press, and strict press. And it spits out all your numbers.
Yes, your numbers and your sets
and
your
reps.
Now, P.S., I, unlike Brian and Brandon and all these other guys, have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to like strength progression and all that. That is not my background. Mine is much more in corrective exercise, but also now more into strength and conditioning. But starting that, for those of you who've never done it before, what's great about it is it really does, even for people who've never done anything or feel like, okay, I can do squats, or you have it with, doing it with a partner is also awesome.
It's amazing.
It has made me a lot stronger, I
And
have
isn't
to
it great
say.
to feel strong?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I didn't see today until today I PR'd my deadlift, and it went up 15 pounds from my last time.
That's
so it was
huge.
185.
Good for you.
185, yes, 185.
That's how much I weigh. You picked me up
I
today.
did. I deadlifted you, and I weigh 123, so that was
That's
pretty.
a lot, Mama.
Come on.
Yes, I'm impressed.
You know, whatever. I'm not impressed till I can do everything with my own weight. That's my goal.
That's a good goal to have. It's a bigger goal than a lot of people even have or even know to even want to do.
Well, I don't, again, like, it's the same thing. I mean, when it's like where you train. You know, if you're not training anywhere where you feel inspired, you need to either shift your environment, I feel, or you need to get a training partner that does inspire you.
Always say that.
I desperately love training partners.
Yeah.
Jamie Granger was my training partner before.
She's my training partner now.
Yeah, but she totally dumped me out of nowhere.
She
but
did?
that's okay, Jamie. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, totally dumped me. Came back from one of her trips and then was like, I'm training at home by myself now. And I was
She
like,
did.
oh, I guess we're done training
We
together.
plucked her off the couch.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
You talk about a schedule. Ooh.
Girl, I know. I've done it.
I know.
I've done it. But
Continue.
still, yeah. Anyway, but you know, having a training partner that you're both on the same page, that you have good communication, I think that's a big part of it.
With
but
anything.
even like when she and I were training together, or I trained with Brian, I mean, all of that is so inspiring.
Yeah.
And when you train with somebody that's either a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, I like to
Always.
train with people who are stronger than me or have excel in other areas, because also I am highly competitive.
Yes.
It pushes me a lot. I have noticed, though, when you're in environments that are highly competitive in more of a dangerous situation, like, you know, you want to make sure that when you're doing classes that involve heavy lifts and all that, that really your competition is within yourself,
Of
not
course.
just like loading on weight because you see some bitch next to you and you're like, oh, really?
It's like the treadmill test at the gym. Whenever and the person's
and you're
going
like,
up, and you're like,
oh, you're 4.0. Well, I'm going to power
I'm
walk
at
at
4.2.
4.5. Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, throw my back out.
and you're
but I
running.
mean-
You're trying to walk at 10 miles an hour. And you fall off the treadmill.
Totally. So it's just how, you know, healthy competition, I think, is.
I'm glad you and I have never been on a treadmill next to each other. That would be comical.
Well, you probably win because I'm not a good runner.
I'm a terrible runner.
But I could choke you out. So that's, you know.
That's not in question. You have before. You definitely have before.
You know, I'm still a white belt, but, you know, at least I know how to armbar and do it.
That's all you need to
it,
know.
choke you.
Just that and a swift kick to the nuts. and
Exactly.
You're good. You're going to win every time. Win
God.
every time. But there's a lot that is going on just in the gym world and everything else. And just people, like, I want everything to be on a healthy level and forward about fitness. And that's, we sit in here and talk about it all the time, whether or not anyone out there is actually listening and taking it as advice. So is mine.
Yeah.
But apart from that, there's so much information that's out there, and it's just the same thing that's always difficult for me by this time in the month, is I really feel like people lose track of themselves. Not even so much of their goals, it's just they get caught up in everything that's going on, and magically fitness is always the first thing to go, which you and I have dealt with our entire fitness careers, you a lot longer than I have.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, in the last 3 years, hiring Brian, my friend and our friend Brian, to be my trainer, which I had a lot of, initially I was like, who do I think I am hiring a trainer? I mean, like, I'm a trainer. I should be able to motivate myself. Why am I?
But that's not how it goes.
By the way, it doesn't go like that
Not
for
at
me
all.
anymore. And like I said, I had a training partner, but then I couldn't even rely on, because my workouts are so important to my sanity.
Of course.
And to making my career even move further forward.
You
I
gotta
think
learn.
it's a big part of it. So hiring a trainer and working with Brian 3 days a week religiously, I mean, my sessions and my time that I train is not negotiable.
No, and even on the level that it's just so nice, and anyone who's a trainer out there will agree to this, we spend so much time programming and creating elements of health and wellness for others.
Other people, yeah.
Either in a class situation, like what I have to do at Cycle House with my personal clients, as you do with yours, and the few times I've gone and subbed, or with Tabata that we've been doing. There's so much time and effort that's pumped into everyone else. By the time it comes time for you to do it, you're just like, God, no, please. I don't even know where to go. I don't want to do anything. I don't know where to start. You don't know where to start.
Yes, or I'm just like, what should I be doing? I mean, there's so many different things I could be working on. Like, I want to take gymnastics, but I'm like, is that going to help? I mean, there's just so many different things. So it helps to have some type of program that you're going to do. Yes, and to
just give you focus.
And to have somebody else also help me. And I had to realize, for me to ask for help, didn't make me weaker, didn't make me, that I couldn't hold it all together. I mean, I have not only my training of my clients that I do that could be, 35 to 40 hours a week, but then I also am creating luxury programming for 5-star hotels.
Yep.
I'm also in the middle of, we're doing pre-production on a show about couples where I'm writing another book. I'm
lots of time.
creating more stuff for my fitness channel for Ashlee Borden Fitness on YouTube. I'm putting together another DVD that I want to do.
I'm glad you have so much free time.
It never ends. Yeah. But you know what, though? If I don't do it, I always say, like, nobody is going to do anything for you.
They're not.
Nobody cares as much about your career as you do. So if you don't show your career that kind of respect,
it has to take a front seat. And listen, I mean, there's a lot that comes with that as an expense along with it, as you very well know. But
a social life?
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, no, I have no. I mean, but then again, I am all about. I'm an ambassador for breast friends.
Breast friends. Me too.
Best friends.
Me too.
Best Friends Animal Society.
Yes, you are.
And KLA, which is No Kill LA, which is they have an incredible shelter that opened up. It's a no-kill shelter, and it's beautiful. It's so pretty that I could live there. It looks like a Cape Cod home in West LA, right off of Sepulveda Boulevard. So if anyone in Los Angeles is looking and is depressed by going to a shelter, which so am I, this place is magical. They're incredible. Best Friends is one of the most amazing animal organizations I've ever come across. I'm so proud to be a part of working with them. So my thing on my downtime was like my animals.
Of course.
And
that gives you sanity as much as your workouts.
I love my animals and my boyfriend. That's like, I just want to chill out. I want to roll out at home. I want to just, speaking of roll out, I can explain what that means. And I'm not talking about a joint.
No, she's not talking about a joint. Everybody get your minds out of the gutter.
Yes, I don't roll joints. I put it in a pipe. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I don't. I put it in a vaporizer. No, I'm just kidding.
You're a mess. Just a mess.
Come on, the healthiest
Where have
way.
you been?
I've been at home smoking on my vaporizer.
Oh, my God. I need to come over. Please.
I mean, it's all legal. It's all legal.
It's fine. Who cares? You got to live a little bit.
Come on. Alcohol's like poison to me.
Yes. Tell me about it.
But you know what? Speaking of a total disclosure.
Total disclosure.
I mean, I myself have my gosh, let's see, what year are we in now? So 1990.
2015.
So 25 years recovery from every eating disorder you can imagine.
Which is part of what you and I needed to talk about today is
coming up.
Next week.
Yep, coming up.
If you did not know, is National Eating Disorder Awareness Week, since I know all of you have had your calendars marked for a year.
It's on my phone.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad you've been having fun because it's about to get really serious. If I had like crazy somber music that I could play, this would be the time. Have Gabe come in, lower the lights. We're going to stop smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going to get very somber and serious. But on a very serious note, it is National Eating Disorder Awareness Week next week. And pun intended, the theme, since there are themes for this, next week is I had no idea. And the truth is yeah, that sounds a little weird. But the truth is that the whole point is what starts as a healthy thought or goal can sometimes be taken to such an extreme that it becomes the opposite. And actually, you've gone through this a lot, which is I know what you were about to get into. You and I have gone through very large bouts of eating disorders.
Oh, yeah. I had a raging eating disorder, probably, I'd say, as long as I can remember as a child until I hit bottom at 18.
Where did it come from?
Well, here's the thing about eating disorders. I mean, I was a dancer. I grew up in a very athletic family. My dad owned sporting goods stores. My mom owned health food store. You know, I was always athletic. I was a dancer. That was my thing more than sports. So because I was around that so much, you know, any disorder, eating disorder, alcoholism, cocaine, any of that stuff, it's really not about the drugs. It's not about the food. It's not about your eating disorder. It's about what you're using that for. You know, yes, what's going on in your mind? Why are you using that? So for me, it ended up being a big part of, it was a control thing.
Yeah.
It was a control thing. My parents were getting divorced. I didn't know how to articulate how I was really feeling about things.
Sure.
I did grow up in a very strange, for a child, environment with this health food thing because, you know, bless my mom's heart, I think her intentions were really good. But, you know, we were not allowed to have sugar. We were not allowed to have really any white flour. We were not allowed to have. And as a child, when you don't explain to somebody why, right? Like, why can't
because
I have
I said
this?
so.
That is not a good answer for me.
No, it's horrible.
And even as an adult, that makes me want to do the opposite.
Do it even more, yeah,
So
exactly.
if you explain it to a kid, you know, yes, once in a while you can have this, but what happens to your body when you're having refined sugar is you get a headache. You want to play a lot, but then you get very, very tired. I mean, whatever. However, you have to dumb it up for your child when you're explaining why you want to limit. Right, Brandon. Just kidding. But
Brandon, here's how it happens.
Here's how it happens.
Here's
with
a spoonful
sugar.
of sugar. See how you feel.
Right, exactly. And now you want to take a nap. But a lot of it for me was because I was a dancer, I was not really aware of my body, other than my body was for an athletic vehicle for dance.
Yeah.
When I got into high school, I got a lot of attention about my body, not my face. It was really about my body, what I look like. And
Positive attention.
Yeah, I mean, you call positive attention. For me, as a freshman in
Was
high
stressful
school, I didn't
attention.
really know how to. I didn't know how to deal with it. I was, like I said, we had an advanced dance class. I always performed. I was a part of it.
Yeah.
And I was very comfortable with my body because I was a dancer. But it was that catch-22 of, like, I was comfortable with my body, but I wasn't comfortable with myself.
Of course.
Really, at that age. So a battle started with, you know, I didn't even realize that I had a quote-unquote good
I had
body.
no idea.
Or no, good body.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like in high school, like I wasn't looking at my body like, oh, I want to dance so I can, you know, be a Playboy center or whatever. It was
Sure.
just like I was just doing this. So that started making me feel very self-conscious and erotic about the way I looked. And then I think that was a snowball of then me wanting to control my food. But then all of a sudden it was like everything was just, I could just focus on that. I had a lot of self-hating going on. I had a lot of, I mean, there's so much
That goes
that's
into
underneath it.
Yeah.
And thank God I did hit bottom very young.
What
at
does that
18.
mean when you hit rock bottom with that?
Well, you know, with any addiction, everyone's rock bottom is different. My rock bottom was, at that point, I was still living it. So I was 18. I was still at home. I hadn't left my house in probably 3 weeks. I was lying to my mom nonstop about, you know, that I was leaving. I couldn't even get dressed. At that point, I was severely bulimic. So
Wow.
I was probably, purging like 7 times a day.
Jesus Christ.
I was highly depressed, obpretty.
Yeah, you have no nourishment.
No nourishment.
Falling apart.
Totally falling apart, and totally probably pretty thinking I was pretty suicidal at that age, because I was like, if this is how I have to live for the rest of my life, I can't do it. I cannot. This is exhausting. I was exhausted and I was done at 18. So thank God I told my mom. And then I ended up getting into programs. She put me in treatment, which I thought, as a depressed elitist, that I was, not as sick as these people. And then, of course, ended up being the best experience of my life.
Of course.
So I found the 12-step program of Overeaters Anonymous, which I, of course, was completely against it. I mean, I am the most stubborn person in the world until I hit my own bottom.
Right.
And that's what happened. So
everybody else can tell you until you realize
exactly.
it. Yeah.
So I'm grateful that I did at such a young age. Have such awareness and worked on it. I was in treatment for 2 months, and then I've been in OA, still, practice and go to meetings, and I'm of service, and I still.
Did you struggle with it afterwards? I mean, did you ever have any moments where you were just like, yeah?
Well, yeah. I mean, recovery with any type of addiction, but especially with an eating disorder. So here's the thing that I find interesting with fitness professionals who are recovering or working through eating disorders, or body dysmorphic distortion, or all that, which is all part of it, which is when you look in the mirror and you see something very different from what's really there.
Which we all have a little bit of.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But it's been a very conscious thing for me with my career that every single thing I've done has had to reflect. I had to say, is this in alignment with my recovery? I was offered a lot of money over the years with different fat burner companies that wanted me to do either training programs or whatever for it. And I had to, of course, say no.
Say no.
My recovery, I took all that stuff. I don't take any of that stuff anymore.
Right. You actually have a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, I have a drug-free lifestyle of that kind of stuff with the fat burners, and see, here's the thing. I mean, I feel like now, and maybe because my own recovery, there's about being transparent and being honest.
Which is not impossible, a huge piece of what we do.
Yes, and my issue as a fitness professional, like going back to social media, just to quickly segue, is that I think it's fantastic. There's Instagram, there's all this very inspiring visual.
Let's start with the transparency, because what happens with us as trainers is we all have such enormous self-imposed pressures to be a certain way, to act a certain way, to look a certain way, that not only do our clients necessarily not reciprocate, but don't completely understand, because we don't really let them in. Like, when we go and we do our own workouts and everything else, it's very specific to us, and then we show up and we've got the personality on, we go and we do it. The difference is, I feel like, especially in a lot of the scenarios that I've been in, not only do I hear so much unhappiness from trainers when they're talking about themselves in exercise and everything else, but I hear a lot of, I wouldn't even call it just negativity, just they're not being truthful with what their goals are, what they want, and how they want to get there. And it seems very simple to me that you could just say, like, look, okay, this is what I need to do, and this is how I need to go out and do it.
Well, here's my thing. If you're taking a human growth hormone, if you're taking Winstrol, you're taking DECA, you're taking any steroids, I feel like, especially if you're a fitness professional, you should be 100% transparent.
Sure. If you're not a competitive athlete, why not? Right?
Oh, being transparent with it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, I understand if you're a competitive athlete in some sports, you can't take any of that stuff, and they still do.
Hopefully.
Which, P.S., I mean, when I
But
I
you want to talk about transparency, I guess that's a whole different show in and of itself. However.
But I feel like, if I had a client, if I was taking, and not that I'm not saying that all of that stuff, I mean, there's a lot of horrible side effects with a lot of those things, but I'm just saying in terms of just being honest with what you put out there and with your clientele, or even like, what are they called? The ass shots of fat that people are getting, and ass implants. And
ass shots of fat?
Yes. People are taking the fat out of they're sucking the fat out of their stomach and putting in their ass.
Oh, they do it in their lips, too.
And their lips, yes. But that is separate to me from when you say, I've been on a fitness journey, I've been working so hard. I mean, I know that I've been training the hardest I've ever trained in my life in the last 3 years, only because I just want to become a better athlete, and
Sure.
I wanted to do something different. If I was taking growth hormone and I wanted to try it, trust me, I would be like, all right,
Here's what's
everyone,
going on.
here's what's up. I want to try it. I want to tell you guys also what my experience has been with it, because part of my brand, my career is me being honest. And my recovery is around, anyone's recovery who's in program is around, your honesty.
Yeah, and our goal is to help.
Yeah. And so, I just feel, when that, especially with Instagram and all of that.
Which is where the conversation's going. Because my biggest issue is when I go on there and I will see fitness models or fitness professionals who will post their before and afters, and it's and of course we never know, and talking in truth, when the actual photos were taken. But when they say it's been, this has been a year and I've gone from this to this. Listen, I've studied everything that there is to study in terms of strength and conditioning and metabolic conditioning and weight loss and weight gain. There's only so much that's attainable in short periods of time. And from a physical level, there is a definite difference between you are doing things that get you to that look and you've actually done things to accomplish this. Like, skin is thick.
Right.
If you are completely ripped down to a shred and your skin looks like paper,
Yes.
There's lots of things that you could have done to get there. Even just the point of saying like, oh yeah, well I went on water stripping to achieve this look at the end of this. It's
I don't
not
even know
just
what that is.
water pills like
pill.
Dandelion Roots or any of the
yeah.
major ones that actually like just
Yes.
take it out of you before bodybuilding shows or any of that rest of
and
stuff.
by the
But when
way-
it's reported as natural, it's just like, no, you're not.
Well, by the way, like when I did my DVD, which we'll get to.
We'll get to
But when
this.
when I did my DVD.
Ashlee Borden, did you say you did a DVD?
I did, and I said we'll get to that in a moment.
Is it a health DVD?
It's a fitness DVD called
okay.
6 Weeks to Sculpted.
I'm not interested then.
Okay, fine.
I was thinking
But-
it was the other DVD that we shot.
Oh, that's for a whole other show.
Oh,
that's a whole other show.
that's not for this one?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
That's
gonna
for the
have-
nighttime version.
I brought the wrong DVDs then. Let me put these away. 900 calorie burn at night is different from...
That's different.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
That's fine. We'll get to
6
it.
Weeks to Sculpted is the one that we want to talk about.
Yeah, it is.
But a big part of when I was getting, I'm sorry to go back, when I was getting ready for that DVD, I had 2 weeks that I was like, okay, I went on Paletta, which is food delivery.
Great.
And that was great. So I literally only ate Paletta. I ate no sugar. And I mean, my sugar intake that I like is strike me dead right now, but I put half and half and some sugar in my coffee, everyone. I do have some...
You rebel.
I do.
You rebel.
And I am not afraid of some Ben & Jerry's ice cream either. I'm not afraid of it.
See, if I didn't get so fucked up with dairy, I'd be right there with you.
Oh, okay. You and Brian Redfern.
I know. We're
But-
made
but the
made
point
to
is-
sit at home and suffer with each other.
Exactly, with your lactate. But I did. It was very conscious, right, before my
Of course.
shoot. And I, even closer to it, I took Dandelion Root. You were talking about. I took Dandelion Root for like 3 days before
Makes you
I
pee it
did
all
it,
out.
right? Made me pee it out. I was shredded for my
Yeah.
DVD. There is no way. And I was not starving. I was just training normally,
Did
but I
you
was
feel
eating that.
good?
Oh, I felt amazing.
See?
But it was too lean for me. I mean, my face looked like I don't know if you've ever taken a
Skeletor.
small apple and you put it have you ever put an apple in an oven and you bake it and you take it out? That's what my face looked like. My body looked great, but my face was like a baked
It's
apple.
where it always goes, is the face.
Because she's doesn't have a lot of, she's not full anymore.
Right.
She's, you know what I mean? She still needs all the collagen she can get and some body fat.
We need to take some of that body fat and
Put it in my face.
tuck it up.
Jesus, yes.
Take it up there.
But and it was, trust me, anytime I do a shoot like that, there is a lot of consciousness of
course.
And friggin' I could not have been darker from my spray tan.
Oh.
I could not have had, I mean, it's all very strategic. So, and when we post stuff, trust me, I'm not posting on Instagram, hey, look how bloated I am. I'm not
Right.
posting days of where I'm like, look at the bags under my eyes. I mean, we're really trying to post our best, which is more inspiring to look at.
It's also your brand.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with, listen, you and I had a good little laugh before we came in here. You were pretty pissed about there being cameras. You've calmed down finally.
I wasn't prepared.
Ladies and gentlemen, she is filming this
I
herself
wasn't-
from very far away.
From my camera, too.
However,
Mommy wasn't prepared. I would have actually, I mean, literally, I would have.
It's fine. but
I
that's the
would have
whole-
put
But that's the
flip-flops
whole
on.
point, is that there is that transparency value that's there, and it's not to say that we're not always at our tip-top best. It's just that we also have no problem saying, just as I said, I feel like I just need to stay in hair and makeup at this point because it's exhausting. Mm-hmm. The image that we're putting forward is one that is going to be highly scrutinized, whether we want it to be or not. And even if we aren't sure of what the scrutiny is going to be, it's going to be there, and you want to put your best foot forward because that's the brand that you put out. And what I get so frustrated with is when I see these people who aren't even running a fitness brand, who have no business even speaking about health and wellness, and they put stuff out there posting about how to attain these results that is not what they did to get them.
Right. Well, it
just drives me fucking insane.
It's a lot of people. I mean, I had to really focus myself along, as a Pisces and as somebody who's very, empathetic. Mm-hmm. It was very painful. Like when I used to work at Fitness Factory, but when I used to work there, it'd be incredibly painful for me to look around and see how many trainers were damaging their clients.
Oh,
I mean,
God. That's everywhere.
Well, that's the only place I really had worked for a long, long period of time, where I was with a bunch of other people that were, and where the way that I've grown up as a trainer is that any time I've worked anywhere, whoever the best person is there, like the best teacher, the best cueing, blah blah blah. My thing is I go and I train with them. Wherever I am, the best person that's there, I want to hire them and I want to work with them. Mm-hmm. I'm not used to working in an environment where people who aren't as educated, instead of wanting to learn or ask questions. I mean, I was a master trainer still am, but for many years I was a master trainer with Nike, and I'm used to working with coaches and other trainers and helping each other. I mean, that's the way that I've grown up as a trainer. So working in an environment where, especially at that place, was incredibly hostile. And the hostility comes from a lack of education from, I feel, the people who feel threatened
an inferiority complex.
Yeah,
exactly.
feel threatened by people who have more knowledge. But what's confusing to me is that usually if I was in that environment, I would want to learn.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be where it gets aggressive and violent. I mean, that place was
I've seen it all over the place. I mean, it's the first place where I've worked in a couple gyms with very few clients because everything that I do mostly is in-home. But when I go and I work in these gyms, I work out there with Scott now, and it's a normal conversation between all of us who are trainers. We just turn around, we're just like, how can you let that be happening? And listen, there are two things that go into that, and I'm not defending it, but you never know what somebody's restrictions are. However, there are basic things that do need to be done.
Oh, well, yes.
CrossFit boxes,
there's variations of stuff all the time. I'm talking about things where I'm looking at it where I'm like, your spinal cord is about to snap.
Yeah.
Like stuff where it's dangerous.
Horrible.
But I still can't, you can't say anything.
But here's the other thing, and listen, if you are a trainer out there, don't completely tune out on this. Just make sure you're checking in with everything. I know that you and I both are such sticklers on form. When I was at Lockbox picking up the other day, I have not taught group exercise in terms of weight training in a while, and it was with a clientele that I have never had. I had never had those people before, and I'm the first person who walks over and takes the weights away. I'm like, nope.
Right.
You don't need it. Like, glad it suggests it, but clearly we need to work. No, I can do it. I'm sure you can, but you don't need to. Like, you need to learn this first. And it's so important. And like, if you even have the slightest inclination that your client or one of your friends or your training partner might be hurting, you need to tune into that, and you need to just do a little bit of research. These magical computers that we have can do anything.
Well, I think a big part of it with trainers or new trainers that are starting, because I even know from my own experience, is there's a factor till you get very comfortable working with clients where it's called like commanding the session.
Sure.
And I see it a lot with new trainers where it's they're not commanding the session yet.
It's a hesitation to step in.
Command the session where you are in charge.
Yeah, I just say no.
As opposed to you're not in charge because you're a dick. You're in charge because you understand what's happening. They came to you.
Yeah.
So and knowing how to explain to a client why we're going to pull back, not because you're a failure.
No.
We're pulling back and doing this because this is happening, so we need to make an adjustment to that. But going back to the overall point of being in gyms and working around other people, I mean, you definitely, even if you work and you're a trainer and you're working in an environment where there's a lot of different types of training, which happens in a lot of public gyms.
Yeah.
I try to find like 2 or 3 people that I really like what they're doing and stick with that as my training posse. Because I'm somebody who, if I have a client, and let's say I had a client that was a spinning person, right? Now, I know nothing about spinning. I don't spin. I personally don't enjoy it myself.
Our heads spin a lot.
Yeah, exactly. But, I would have no problem going, all right, hold on one second. And then, saying, Brandon, can you come here for a sec? And then, and then asking a question with you there and being like, let me ask you, how do you find the right seat position? She's having an issue with her hip when she's spinning and asking a question because I don't feel threatened by somebody else who has an education in something that I'm not familiar with.
Oh, and I'd be tickled.
Because that's how you learn.
Yeah.
That is how you learn. So if you can't put your ego aside to ask and to learn, you're going to have a problem.
It's difficult for a lot of people, and they think that they have to have all the answers. I mean,
how can you have all the answers?
You can't. Like, first of all, that's what's amazing about our job. And if you are a certified trainer, whatever your certification is going to require you to have continuing education credits, and hopefully you're going to seminars and listening and speaking. Everything changes all the time. Like, and my little major of kinesiology is completely different. God bless those children who are having to do that right now at USC. The amount that has just pumped in the last 2 years is extraordinary.
Right.
And if you're not constantly picking up on that, you're going to plateau your clients too. And it's you don't need to have all the answers. You need to constantly be learning. And there's something that's really sexy for me to turn around when my clients will ask me a question and I can just go, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, let me look.
Yeah.
Let me look it up and I'll get back to you.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, or get back to you tomorrow and let you know what I find or whatever.
Command of the session.
Yeah, I just, that is, and that comes also from you yourself being a humble person to learn. And I had just posted something on Instagram the other day about training, and I still.
Is that why you hadn't called me back? You were on Instagram?
Yes, again, still.
Just making
I
sure.
did call you back, by the way.
I know you did.
Yes, I did.
That's why
just for, yes, why I'm here. But, just for stenographer's record. But that I feel that anyone who's in the service industry, whether it's makeup artist or training or hairstylist or whatever, that if you need to hire somebody, exchange money in the field that you're in.
Yes.
And I mean like maybe 5 times, minimal, right? So you really understand what it feels like to be a client. And if you've never done that, you're missing a huge piece to the puzzle of your own clientele and understanding longevity with your clientele. Because I get asked that a lot, is like, how do I don't have a big turnover of clients. I keep my clients I have some clients I've been with for 15 years. I mean, I have a large stable of clientele, but I don't have a high turnover. And, a big part of that too is being humble with yourself enough to train with somebody else. Then you understand when you are, which makes me, if you are 10 minutes late to a session, first of all, I mean, if I was 10 minutes late to a session, I would comp the session for the client. I mean, that's just what I would do. 15-minute is my comp, that is what I usually comp at, which I don't know when I was ever been 15 minutes late.
Never.
Ever, unless
there's something horrible that's gone wrong.
Happen. But,
you're early.
And when you have a trainer and I'm paying for Brian, if Brian started my session 10 minutes late every time, I'd be furious.
Jaws, yeah.
Because it's 1 hour that you're paying your hard-earned money for, and that's just what it comes down to. So then you really value more what you're giving your client when you understand what it's like to be a client yourself.
It's all those little things, and you must know what that feels like, even to push people through, to know when you're at that level, when you're about to break, and you have somebody who can pull you through and just be like, let's dig in right here.
Yes,
let's
and
look
knowing
at this
when
right here.
Knowing when to push, when to pull,
and sometimes you have to listen to your clients. It's not always pulling them through it. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes you're done.
Now, then there's sometimes when you have the red flag right in front of your face, and I didn't know this is so a while ago I had been approached to go on tour with another very high profile entertainer, right? And when the people had asked me if I wanted to do it and what they wanted to pay, I said to them, with all due respect, what you're looking to pay is for a trainer and no disrespect at all to 24 Hour Fitness, but I mean, you're looking for a trainer that just started, like 24 Hour Fitness, maybe even at the Y, if you're paying that a week.
Okay.
Anyway, long story short, they wanted to pay barely anything. And I said, you're going to get what you pay for. But then they asked me if I could consult and I could find them a trainer. Well, it's the same thing we're talking about. I mean, when you are looking for somebody to go on the road with a client, right, especially a high-profile client, there's so much stuff that you can't teach somebody. Like I cannot teach you common sense.
No.
I cannot teach you how to go by your instincts with things. So when this trainer, I had vetted through other trainers to try to find somebody who would be good, and I got recommended this girl, and she came to pick me up to go on a meeting. And when I got in her car, the car had been turned off. We got in the car, and she sat down, and she's like, "I'm sorry, hold on one second," and then breathes into the breathalyzer that's attached to her vehicle, right? Oof. So I was like, wow, it's I think she's got a DUI thing on her car.
We got a DUI on our hands.
And again, because of my own recovery, I really tried not to judge. I tried, people can make mistakes. People can also come full circle.
Yeah.
So long story short, I believed, she was like, this was a year ago, everything's changed, blah, blah, blah. I liked her training stuff. She ended up on the road with this client, and midway through the road, I get a call from management that said that she's drunk constantly with the entertainer, that she had left the entertainer at the mall. I mean, so many horrible things. Anyway, she ended up being fired, and which made me look like a complete asshole because I placed this woman with her. But the point is that I did not look at the first red flag that was on the field, which was her friggin' breathalyzer attached to her vehicle, which was a little probably too close to me. She couldn't self-regulate.
Right.
And with this industry, with training especially, it's all I really know, is there is so much about being able to self-regulate and being able to
emulate and learn.
Cues, social cues, when to, it's not just about the workout.
No, it's far more about other things.
Right? Especially with a client that you see 3 times a week for years.
That's interpersonal. That's
very
life.
interpersonal.
Yeah. I say that to my clients all the time, and I've said it in here before when people ask, because I've had my clients forever.
Yes.
That I've had, and I've been very lucky to keep.
How long have you been training now?
Almost 7 years now.
God, that's a long time.
I started illegally in school.
Oh, shit.
I know.
Yeah.
But it was fine. I was being educated. I wasn't doing anything that I wasn't supposed to be doing with them. It was very casual and off the cuff. But as things have evolved, I've gotten more clients and I've kept them. And that's the one question that everybody asks, like, how do you keep all these clients? I'm like, what you're looking to do is establish. How many clients do you want? Oh, I want 10. You're looking to establish 10 relationships that are basically like you looking to find a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Like not obviously take the sex out.
No, but what do you mean? Explain that to me. What do you mean?
That I'm going to see this person multiple times a week.
Oh, yes.
This is not just I'm working out with you. You've got to balance their social life.
Yes.
You've got to balance whatever relationships they have, their moods, how they feel. When you walk into the room, just like when you walk in, like your boyfriend, you walk in, he knows if you're pissed, you know if he's happy. It's the unspoken.
You can feel it.
And you've got to gauge the workout. And sometimes I walk in with this big plan, and one of my clients, like I'll use Chris as an example because he doesn't care. I'll walk in with this big plan, and I can read Chris like a fucking book, and everything has to change. And there can't be a conversation because unless they bring it up that they want to talk about it, they're still a client. That's still their personal life. And those are all the things that go into this. That you're talking about transparency and everything else, and social pressures. That all goes into every single session.
Yeah, and setting your boundaries.
And
That's
you can't do that any other way than learn how to do it.
Yes, and let me tell you.
Some people are going to make it and some people are not in that sense, because that is something that you must trial by fire.
And that's where I feel, that's when I'm around some trainers that are not commanding the session, what I feel from that is that there's a big part of it that feels there's a fear there that they're going to lose their client.
Yeah.
So when you work in a constant state of fear, like I have never, ever thought or worked in terms of feeling like I am going to, what if I lose a client? Never. It's just the way I run my business. If one thing is done, I'm on to the next thing. If it's done, I'm on to the next. I don't even look behind me.
I've lost clients that I didn't need to have.
Well, I will tell you, I just went through a thing about boundaries, because if you don't set boundaries, then
with anything, it's a relationship.
Yes, you are run over. But I had a client just recently who completely crossed a boundary with me and got up in my face in a session, which is, I'm your trainer, but it was all her own stuff. Was in a horrible mood.
And they
was
take it out on you.
constantly questioning everything we were doing, which, you know, I'm happy to explain maybe 1, 2, or 3 times, but when we're in the 6th time that I'm explaining to you, I'm like, I just want you to
Pay
do
attention.
Yeah. But point is that she totally crossed a boundary with me professionally and personally.
And it's over.
Yeah, and after that, I needed to ask, like PJ, I had to actually sit down with him. I had to talk it through because my initial reaction was it was not going to be professional enough.
Right.
And I needed to not react in that moment. We ended up finishing the session. I needed to really think about what I was going to say. I needed to bounce it off another trainer. I needed to write it out. I mean, this is the time because this person.
Everybody has days.
Yes, everybody has days, but also how you respond to the situation will
Well,
dictate
what you're gonna put up with.
anything further.
Of course.
Yes, and so all that stuff is a big part of asking for help. Is
Yeah.
a big part of talking to other professionals in your business. You know, we don't know how to do everything. I learned running this business, like I say, like prison yard. I mean, I was just like out in the prison yard, and that's
Sounds
where
like a fantasy to me, actually.
yeah, exactly. That's what all started. You know, and then there's times where you don't want to admit you train certain clients. You know, just a random fact. I trained, and this is not something necessarily that I'm proud of, but I thought it was an interesting talk. I trained Suge Knight, right? I mean, years ago. But he actually trained like 7 times like a normal client, right? But I had to have another male trainer with me when I was training him, and we had to, you know, set the boundaries ahead of time and blah, 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 and all this. Now, with somebody like him, you know, I worked with him. We trained 7 times. It was not the right match for us,
Right.
you know.
And you move on.
You move on. But, you know, not on my client list, not somebody that you really, you know.
You don't have a testimonial from Suge? Damn it.
Like I helped
Is
him.
it too late to go back now?
I helped him learn how to
Dear
be
Suge.
stronger in prison. I mean, this is not good. But, I mean, he is back in jail. I think
Of course
he's back
he
in
is.
jail.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, so there's, you know, different times. And by the way, I have other wonderful clients that I've
course you
trained
do.
besides him. But that was just a random, when I saw that, I was like, wow, it's.
But all of those things happen, and these are all things that, again, you must learn. The point, even beyond all of that, is you've really taken this to a whole new level, because apart from being a stickler on form and wanting the best and really transforming people all the time, you and I both say yes to a lot of things.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
I do.
And you were approached a while ago to do fitness DVDs, which has then transformed itself into
Da, 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 da.
the top selling, or the number 1 fitness DVD of 2015, ladies and gentlemen.
Fitness Magazine. Thank
For
you very
Fitness
much.
Magazine,
Magazine.
number 1. I have it right here. 6 weeks to sculpt it. That's you on the cover.
And it is available on my website, ashleeborden.com, as a download, or you could buy the physical DVD.
Look at you.
And here's what's different about this DVD program. PJ Stahl and I actually programmed and created the programming together.
I love PJ. He's my dumbbell.
He's amazing. And it is a 6-week program that clicks on each day and drops down your warm-up, your workout.
Can this be seen here?
Oh, can it?
I don't know.
Can anyone see it? Here, I can hold it too.
No, I can just stick it right here. Look at me.
Look at you sticking it right there. But the actual program itself is all already. It's a drop down on the screen. It's you don't have to like click around to find different things. You can mix and match it, but it's strength training, it's plyometrics, it's yoga, it's foam rolling, and core.
Fantastic.
So there's 14 different workouts, and it's ascending in its difficulty and endurance. So it starts beginning of the 6 weeks. It goes 6 days a week. So it's all pre-programmed for you, because that's what I found was the biggest issue with anybody that doesn't understand. They either do one DVD for 5 years.
Yep.
And then they're wondering why they have muscle imbalances when the DVD they're doing is just about pushing.
Yep.
Or they have no idea what DVDs to buy.
Right.
So I wanted to create something that was like, here's your whole program for you. This is everything. It's a 360-degree approach to everything.
Would you call it introductory?
I would say that this DVD is for a
Moderate?
advanced beginner
Got
to
it.
advanced
Fantastic.
person. It is unisex, truly unisex. It's all functional movement patterns.
All of our favorites.
There is no fancy, weird 400 leg lifts with 3 pounds of weight. It's
Damn it.
all, sorry. It's
Ashlee.
all very functional fitness. and mobility.
Ruining my dreams.
Sorry.
8-minute ass blast.
Yeah, exactly. Gosh. It's probably my next DVD. But when I had started doing DVDs years ago, Gaim had approached me to create programming for these pods, these balance pods. And the answer when they said, could you do this? I had never done that before, was yes. Of course I can. So I say yes, and then I ask for the help or create the team that I need to help me make it come to fruition.
No different than when PJ asked me to do Tabata. Yes.
Exactly. The answer is yes.
God, that first day when we were down there, Jesus Christ, I thought I was going to die.
I thought I was watching you guys.
Yeah, seriously, right?
But see, now saying yes to something like that.
Well, but look what it turned into.
Exactly.
Same thing. Look what this has turned into.
You just, you never know.
It's everything else. All that we're doing with Cycle House and all these other things that go on. Like you say yes, and listen, that's part of the town that we're in, and that's part of the industry that we're in. Like we're very used to trial by fire, and it's a learning experience. This show, in and of itself, Jesus, PJ, when he was in here a few weeks ago for our 3-year anniversary, he and I listened back to our first show that we ever did. I mean, painful. Painful.
But isn't it like you live and learn?
But that's how all of this works, and that's why it's successful. And I mean, I'm very proud of you for creating this because one, I know how much it takes.
Yes. And by the way, it is totally different. I mean, it was like giving birth to DVD.
Listen, we can be honest about this. Speaking of transparency,
yes.
The filming of fitness DVDs is about the unhealthiest thing that you can do.
Well, especially because Mommy could not afford to shoot this in 2 days.
Exactly.
I had to shoot it in 1 day.
Fuck, I don't know how you did that.
So I shot 14 videos in 1 day.
Exactly.
With PJ and Camry. So when it's yours and it's your child and
you want to get it done and it has to look good.
Yes.
And you have to look good and you got to make it feel good. I mean,
the content is important.
Talked about Tabata a lot, but I mean, we had 4 days to film 6 weeks worth of workouts.
Yes, that's
and
ridiculous.
It's just, I mean, guys, fully transparent. I've never been more beaten down in my life. Like I had to take a solid 4.5, 5 days off after that. I couldn't move.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
I bloated to the size of a cow. My body was so stressed.
Yes.
I ballooned to 194 pounds, and my little 187-pound frame, that's a lot.
Wow, that's a lot.
I mean, just...
Yeah.
I couldn't
just your
move,
body was so
and
traumatized.
It just
yes.
hurt and everything, and then to roll it out and stretch it and just to like slowly... I literally felt like I had come back to life.
Yeah.
After it was over, and it was painful. But then when you watch the DVDs back, you're like, oh, it looks really good.
It looks good. And when you finally have something that you own, I mean, like for instance, this DVD is now going to be part of a series that's launching in Germany.
Fantastic.
So it's
Hans and Franz.
It's in German. The whole thing is in German.
Do you
They
speak
redid it in
German?
German. I speak no German, but they did it.
God, that would be sexy. You should do that next time.
Yeah,
I'll work on it
be
with
big
you.
in Germany. Be big in Germany. But we're doing a big thing. It's Jeanette Jenkins. It's Bob Harper, Susanna Light, and another trainer who is doing these DVDs, and they're doing a whole launch in Germany with these celebrity training DVDs. And really quickly about the word celebrity trainer.
Yes,
I have to. I need to talk about this for a second.
As a celebrity trainer,
I need to talk
Ashlee
about this
Borden.
for a second.
You have 1 second.
Everybody.
Go.
Okay, good. That's it. Okay. And I'll see you next week. I train. Part of my clientele are celebrities,
Yes.
as they are athletes and everyday people. I hate,
course.
like
I
me. And
understand.
everyday. What do we call ourselves? The civilians or whatever. That
The normal people.
Yeah, the moms and the dads, which are the majority of my business.
Which celebrities also are.
Yeah, exactly.
Normal people.
And
which a lot of people don't realize.
yes, I mean they have blood going through their veins. They poop. They eat food. I know
They
this
don't
is
do any
crazy.
of those things. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
They're actually just human functional
Right.
forms. Yeah.
But when a part of for me with my business and having PR for the last 15 years, I mean that's a part of the business side of it is
Sure.
that they with companies you work with, that is a big part of why they also want to hire you because
Yes.
of that. But if you just rely on that, and let me speak for myself, I never have relied on the clients that I train. I mean, it is on my website. It's a part of stuff when I like my
part of who you
DVD.
are.
It's a part of my clientele base. But what you give as a trainer,
Yeah.
forget outside of that. I mean, there are so many people I see identify themselves as a celebrity trainer, which I
Drives me
don't really understand even what that means. I mean, what's the level of celebrity that you're training? I mean, who cares? But it's such a overblown term.
Well, and especially here. I mean,
In LA.
In LA,
Yeah.
we're speaking in a very hyper celebritized environment.
Although I never refer to myself, like for instance, Instagram, my Twitter, my Instagram, my
It's
Facebook.
always weird. You're always referred to as celebrity
I
trainer
don't refer
Ashlee.
to
I know
myself
that,
as that,
and I've
right.
always taken note of that you don't do that, and it's one of those things. I don't even.
I'm just embarrassed. You know why I'm embarrassed by it? Because my whole life as a trainer, I remember when I trained Christina Aguilera for years, right? For probably trained her for like almost 4 years. And so grateful that I had that experience. And training her helped my business tremendously.
Sure.
Tremendously. But I remember my goal after that was like, I want to be known as Ashlee Borden, the trainer, not necessarily her trainer.
Exactly.
And you know that is providing content. That's what are you giving to your followers of people? And I also hate using the word followers, but you know the people that
who
follow
look
you
to you
on,
for advice.
Yes.
And listen, you
And
are
not just about you and your stupid photos of you and your frigging clients, which embarrasses me to no end.
And you do something, you're taking it on a completely different level, and we're going to pass out your Twitter handle and everything else, but you post about your clients and everything else. I don't typically do that. I mean, I have before. I do it more on the Facebook side because those I have control of who's seeing it. Those are my friends, and I feel a loyalty to my clients to kind of protect that sacred space of the workouts. I don't even talk about who my
and by the way,
celebrity
that
clients
is
are.
a very important part of it, that you need to have that conversation before you post anything about your
Always.
clients. Yes.
And it's just another one of those things. And Cycle House can be my biggest proponent of this. I have celebrities that walk through that door every single day. There's 60 bikes in that room. You know, first of all, the funny thing is everybody gets so hyped up on who you train, and then they walk in and they're there and nobody even notices.
Right.
Which is hysterical to me. And on top of that, the same thing that I say to everybody else, all my clients are celebrities to me because they make me feel like a rock star every time that I walk in there, and they all work like rock stars because I demand it, and they want to do that. So it's not about really who you train or what they do. Like, you know, if they support you on that level and they want to be the celebrity that's out there and doing the testimonials and let's take pictures and let's show this off, great, good on them. But a lot of times they don't. And you've got it, in my opinion, Ashlee, exactly right. That's not what it's about because that's not who you are. You are not someone's trainer. You are a fitness professional. You are a fitness guru beyond many, many, many years of what I have right now that I look up to and want to emulate in terms of how you go about creating business and fitness.
And, you know, I think a big part of it, too, is your, like, for instance, with the DVD, we had sent out a whole thing to editors for that,
Sure.
right? And how you handle it. And I just felt like it wasn't enough. So I flew out to New York, paid for it myself. I flew out to New York. I flew my manager out to New York. And we did desk sides with all the editors. And I physically handed my DVDs to every editor that was out there and talked about it because that's what needed to happen in order to get it. I need to see it exchanged their hands, you know? So it's like if you sit back and you rely on everything else and you don't take the initiative yourself, shit is not going to get done.
No.
And
Gotta take care of
whether or
yourself.
not, you know, I have some clients that of celebrity that have wanted to be out and talk about it. You know, you as you probably know also, I mean, there's so many confidentiality waivers you have to sign and all this stuff, and it's all just a big catch-22 because it's it helps, but then you need to be legitimate. And my whole thing,
and then you can get pinned.
Yeah.
You know.
But you need to be legitimate. And if you're not a good, legitimate trainer, your longevity is pretty short.
Well, because you're hiding.
Yes, you're hiding. And the other thing is that in the industry of entertainers and in that industry with celebrity, if you're truly not in it to help, you will be flushed out in 5 seconds.
5 seconds. I can sniff it.
Because you are so replaceable. There is 1,000 people behind you ready to take your job.
Yeah.
And you know, I've always been a believer that, you know, especially working with that demographic, it's like you're there to be an asset.
Yeah.
You are there to be an asset.
Well, to help and to keep them on top of their game.
With any client. But I mean, if I have any client that pays for me if I go on the road or I'm traveling with them, I mean, I am an asset. I'm not their best friend. We are not BFF. I don't have it twisted in my head that I think, you know, this is my new favorite relationship that I have. No. I mean, I am employed.
It's a working relationship.
I'm employed by them, and I want to help I want to do for them what if I could hire you, Brandon, to be with me all the time. I know what I would want you to do for me. So that's how I treat my clients.
Sure.
Is what I would want for myself. And you know, and so that's a big part of the business.
Yeah,
I feel.
And it's a difficult one for a lot of people to learn. And
Yes.
something that a lot of people aren't going to get to learn.
Yeah.
But, you know, one thing or another. You have this other wonderful DVD.
Yes.
That is also here.
900 calorie burn.
Otherwise known as Ashlee's Friday Night.
Exactly.
At least
So
900.
it's the weekend. It's the whole weekend.
It's the whole weekend.
But now this DVD, what's different with this one, and this is
Oh, I see Brian.
Brian, my
Brian.
trainer and friend. Brian is in the background, and PJ's in the background as my backup guy and programmer for 6 Weeks of Sculpted.
Yes, there he is.
900 calorie burn are 4 hit workouts that are
High intensity interval training is all the rage.
Oh, we love it. We love it.
We love it so
Short,
much.
effective, efficient.
Brutal.
Brutal, but this one is also amazing programming in
Yes.
that as well. It is a lower body focus, upper body focus, full body focus, and a core focus.
Got it all.
We have it all, and it is also available digital and as a physical DVD. That 900 calorie burn is available on Amazon. My DVD, 6 Weeks to Sculpted, if I can have more numbers in there, is available on my website, ashleeborden.com, as a download or as a physical DVD
That's
as well.
right. And it's also on the back in case you need to see
And
it
it's
again.
also on the back as well. So there's 2 totally different.
I can't wait to
programs.
watch these, just to watch you
Oh,
exercise.
I know you are just going to be watching
just
them
I'm gonna
non-stop.
Pull out my popcorn, pour a glass of wine, watch Ashlee on my Friday night, and I'll show you 900 calorie
I
burn
mean, by the way, you're going to be watching that 6 Weeks of Sculpted for the whole weekend.
for the whole weekend. I'll watch the whole thing.
Yes,
I'm gonna pick it apart.
But both of them are unisex, and because that is a
no, these are
big-
great to have, and these
Yes.
are something that, you know, especially going back to Fall Off the Wagon February.
Yes.
So much is going on within home fitness right now. I mean,
Set your foundation.
you got to have it. And it's
Yes.
such a great thing for anybody who's traveling, for anybody who is too busy to take the time and go to the gym. That's a real thing that happens to big business.
And
like,
these are workouts that I do,
can do
myself
anywhere.
and with my clients. This isn't like I'm doing a DVD. I'm going to make up some shitty new
No.
fake system because I want you guys to buy it.
No.
This is the stuff that I do with my clients. It's the stuff that I do myself. It's friggin' effective. Which is my other thing. Like, it better be effective.
Must be.
And efficient. So especially in 6 Weeks of Sculpted, there's no workouts. At the very end, it gets to about 40 minutes. But other than that, it's about 20 to 25 minutes for most of all the workouts.
Well, I can't wait to watch them. Seriously, I can't wait because I haven't seen them. I've seen you training them in the gym, but I haven't gotten to see that. I'm so excited to have them. I can't believe that it's been so long since you've been in here. It will not be the case again.
No, I will
think
be
you,
back.
me, and PJ need to come in here, and Brian. Like, seriously.
Bring that bitch in here.
Trust me, he's not listening, so we can say whatever we want right now.
He should be listening.
He should be listening. You know, if we poke him enough.
I would love it. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, Brian and PJ, you, like, working around these incredible guys and women.
We have fun, and we talk, and we're communicative, and it's so.
And you
been
learn from each
We
other.
learn. Like, I've learned such an impressive amount from PJ and Brian,
Yeah.
and then when you and I started to work out together
Yeah.
at Lockbox, I mean, when you would turn around, just a quick story before we wrap all this
Yes.
up. When Ashlee would turn around, she'd be like, I fucking suck at my power cleans. And then I'd sit there, I'd be like, I love power cleans. And you'd post up right next to me. You would pull your boobs up and you'd say,
My boobs.
your weight's a lot heavier than mine. Forgive my pussy weight, but here I go, watch my form. And ask me to watch and be open to interpretation, because you and I also would know that PJ has to be there, or Brian, whoever was coaching that day, to coach everybody else who's there. And it just
Yeah.
created such a fun environment.
Well,
that
you need to ask. You need to ask for help. And I actually think the first time when I had you watch was way back at Fitness Factory.
a long time
Yeah,
ago.
way back when. But I mean, that's how you learn. I mean, I am. Here's the great thing about lifting weights. Also, there's always somebody better than you.
Yeah.
So the competition never ends for me because no matter what
and a healthy
I do.
competition.
Yes, and I mean I could be a little nicer to myself because I'm like, I had my PR today, right? I'm like 100
Yes,
and
we
whatever.
are celebrating this
yeah,
today.
85 pounds of my deadlift. But then of course I have to ask Jill, the other, the coach who was in class today, who's friggin' awesome.
Pinfold?
Yeah, exactly.
Love Jill.
And Jill, you know Jill, that's right.
Of
And
course.
Jill's deadlift is probably like 900 pounds, and she
Yes.
weighs like 80.
8.
I mean,
She weighs 8 pounds. She's pure muscle. It's great.
all muscle.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But she's great. So I just love working around people that have, their same goals. I said to PJ today, we went to breakfast today, and I said, I love working around him because he is just as motivated as
Yeah,
I am.
amazing.
And
To no
as,
end.
as are you. But I don't get to work around you all the
I
time,
know.
which
We'll,
sucks.
we'll work on it.
But, having people that, if you work around people or live around people that bring you down, that is not going to get you
Gotta
to your
have people
goal.
that get you up. Actually, if people want to find you, if people want to follow you, if people want to just just
Stalk
have
me?
a little stalk you.
Okay, here's where you can stalk me.
Okay, let's
stalk
go.
by at Ashlee Borden Fitness on Facebook.
Got it.
You could stalk by on Twitter, which is Ashlee Borden.
We love Twitter.
You can visually stalk by on Instagram, which is
She's on it all the time.
Ashlee Borden Fitness. Ashlee
She's
Borden.
literally on it all the time.
But it gives me the most amount of anxiety.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm also on friggin' Pinterest, but I don't even understand what I'm doing on
That's
it. But
okay.
I'm on Pinterest.
You're
Who
there.
cares? And I apparently
keep
it's
Googling.
a lot of pins.
Yeah,
Yeah, just Google it. But on my website, ashleyborden.com.
That's the best place to find you.
Yeah,
that's
you can find me there.
That's the easiest
and by the
way
way,
for us to go.
P.S. I respond.
Yes, you do respond.
I respond to every. Oh, my YouTube, Ashlee Borden
the
Fitness on
huge
YouTube.
one. So that's the
Please,
big one.
I have a million different workouts. You can follow them all. They're complimentary. You don't have to pay anything, and they're effective.
God, who knew you could get Ashlee for free?
My God.
My
I love
God.
it. Thank you for having me on your
Ashlee,
show.
thank you so much for coming in here. We're gonna get the entire crew in here.
Let's get the crew.
very soon. That'll be a show to remember.
That'll be a
Next
shit
week.
show.
A shit show. No, definitely. Next week, National Eating Disorder Awareness
Can't
Week.
wait.
Can't wait. Be healthy this weekend. Seriously.
Yes.
Take a minute. Check back in with your health and fitness. Go do something that challenges you, damn it.
Do it.
You're worth it. Take it from Ashlee and I. It's definitely fun. We're getting you back in here. Whatever you do, take it one step, one time, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week.
Woo!